Ever notice how some people just love testing your boundaries? They interrupt, make passive-aggressive comments, or act like your time and feelings don't matter, and we're supposed to just smile and let it slide? Not today. If you're done putting up with people who don't respect you, this video is for you. Today we're diving into brutally honest, and maybe a little controversial ways to handle disrespect without losing your cool, and without sacrificing your self-respect. By the end of this video, you'll have all the tools you need to show people exactly where the line is drawn. So buckle up and let's get started. Number 1. Embrace the silent stare. Let's start with one of the most impactful and slightly savage techniques, the silent stare. It might sound overly simple, but trust me, it's incredibly effective. When someone is openly rude or disrespectful, nothing unsettles them more than a calm, steady, and completely unbothered gaze. People who disrespect others are often fishing for a reaction, stammering flustered replies, or even a snapback. They thrive on pulling you into their drama, making you question yourself or feel small. But when you meet their behavior with nothing but silence and a steady stare, the power dynamic shifts entirely. This might seem passive-aggressive, but it's actually a subtle act of reclaiming control. Without a single word, you're sending a powerful message. I'm not playing this game with you. It's a way to say no, to set boundaries, and to demand respect without raising your voice. I've seen this work wonders in real-life situations. For instance, during a group meeting, a colleague repeatedly interrupted me, cutting me off like his voice was the only one that mattered. At first, I tried interjecting politely, but he wouldn't stop. So, I leaned back, crossed my arms, and fixed him with a silent, unblinking stare for a few seconds. The effect was immediate. He stumbled over his words, grew visibly uncomfortable, and avoided eye contact. From that point on, he didn't interrupt me and even began treating me with newfound respect. The silent stare is more than a clever tactic. It's a statement of self-respect. It's a way of reclaiming your space and dignity without being confrontational. Too often, when faced with disrespect, we feel compelled to defend ourselves, or worse, let it slide to avoid making a scene. This technique is neither aggressive nor passive. It's grounded, calm, and unapologetically in control. Moreover, it holds the other person accountable by acting as a mirror to their behavior. Most people who are habitually disrespectful rarely face consequences or self-reflection. Your steady gaze forces them to confront their actions without you saying a word. This technique doesn't just stop their behavior, it strengthens your own sense of self-worth. I used to nervously laugh off rude comments or over-explain myself when someone questioned my choices. But that approach left me drained and defeated. Learning to embrace silence and stillness in the face of disrespect was transformative. It became a quiet yet powerful declaration of self-respect. If someone is being rude, crossing boundaries, or trying to make you feel small, try the silent stare. Let the silence fill the room and allow them to feel the weight of their behavior. You'll be amazed at how uncomfortable it makes them and how empowered it makes you feel. The silent stare sends a clear message. I respect myself too much to engage with your negativity. Number 2, embrace silence as your answer. Here's a little secret weapon that's incredibly underrated: silence. When someone disrespects you, one of the most powerful responses is no response at all. Now I know what you're thinking. Silence feels passive, almost like you're letting them get away with it, right? But here's the truth. Silence is far from passive. It's a deliberate choice and at times the boldest, loudest answer you can give. When someone throws negativity your way, they're often trying to pull you into their drama, making you feel small or defensive. But when you refuse to engage, when you simply let their words hang in the air without responding, you force them to sit with their own behavior. And that silence? It's deafening. People who disrespect others usually expect a reaction. They're looking for a fight, a justification, or some kind of validation for their behavior. Silence, however, denies them all of that. It says, "I'm not giving you my energy." By not engaging, you maintain control of the conversation and send a clear message. I'm not here to entertain your disrespect. Let me share a personal story. I once dealt with someone who loved making little digs, insults disguised as jokes, the kind designed to get under your skin. One day he made an unnecessary comment about my work, clearly hoping to get a rise out of me. Normally I might have tried to explain myself or even fired back. But this time I just looked at him, raised an eyebrow, and said nothing. I let his words linger in the air. The awkward silence was palpable. He fidgeted, mumbled something, and moved on. That was the last time he tried to pull that with me. That's the beauty of silence. It starves disrespect of the attention it craves. When you choose silence, you're choosing yourself. You're saying, I value my peace over your opinion of me. And that isn't just empowering, it's revolutionary. We often feel pressured to respond, explain ourselves, or defend our choices to people who aren't interested in respecting us. But by embracing silence, you refuse to play by their rules. You take a stand without lifting a finger, letting them know, you're not worth my words. It's not just about controlling the situation, it's about reclaiming your energy. Silence acts as a filter, keeping your peace intact by blocking out the negativity others project onto you. The moment you stop feeling the need to respond to every rude comment or passive-aggressive jab, you free yourself. You stop giving people access to your inner world and start living on your own terms. I won't lie, learning to use silence wasn't easy for me. I used to think that staying quiet made me look weak or passive. But over time, I noticed something. Every time I responded to disrespect, I felt drained and frustrated. Yet when I chose silence, I felt lighter, stronger, and more in control. Each time I resisted reacting, it felt like I reclaimed a piece of my power. So here's my challenge to you. The next time someone disrespects you, pause, take a deep breath, look them in the eye and say nothing. Let your silence speak volumes. You might be surprised by how uncomfortable it makes them and how liberated it makes you feel. Embrace silence as your answer, because sometimes saying nothing is the most powerful statement you can make. Number 3, stop explaining your choices. This one's going to hit home for many of us. Stop explaining your choices. How often have you made a decision for yourself only to be bombarded with questions like, why did you do that? Or why didn't you go to that event? People seem to think they're entitled to an explanation for everything we do. Here's the truth. They're not. Your choices are yours, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. If someone is questioning your decisions, they're often not trying to understand. They're looking to judge or poke holes, making you doubt yourself or feel insecure. By refusing to explain, you reclaim your autonomy and show that your life isn't up for debate. Why do people feel so entitled to an explanation in the first place? Often it's because your choices challenge their worldview. Maybe you're taking a risk they're too afraid to take, or stepping out of a norm they find comforting. Your independence can make them uncomfortable, and asking you to explain is their way of trying to pull you back into their comfort zone. But just because they're uncomfortable doesn't mean you're responsible for reassuring them. Your life is not a public service announcement. I remember when I decided to switch careers from a stable job to something I was passionate about but riskier. The moment people found out, it was like I announced I was moving to Mars. Questions poured in. Why would you leave a stable job? Or how are you going to make it work? At first I'd try to explain, detailing my reasons and plans. But no matter what I said, it was never enough. The more I explained, the more people questioned me, leaving me frustrated and second-guessing myself. Then one day I tried something new. When someone asked, why would you leave that job? I simply replied, because I wanted to. No extra details, no strategy breakdown, just a simple answer. And let me tell you, it felt incredible. The silence that followed was everything. People didn't know how to respond because I had taken away their power to question my choices. Eventually, they stopped asking. There's a real freedom in not explaining yourself. It's about standing in your truth and knowing your decisions are valid simply because you made them. By refusing to justify your actions, you free yourself from the weight of others' expectations and can focus your energy on living authentically. Your life doesn't need an audience vote, and not every decision has to be analyzed or approved by others. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a truly confident person explaining their decisions? Probably never. Confident people don't need external validation. They know the only approval that matters is their own. I used to be the person who'd give a full PowerPoint presentation to justify my choices, but over time, I realized this only made me second-guess myself. So I made a pact. I'll answer briefly if someone asks about a decision, but if they push for more, I'll smile and move on. Life got lighter. The less I explained, the more confident I became in my decisions. Here's my challenge to you. The next time someone questions your choices, resist the urge to explain. Simply say, because I wanted to, or that felt right for me. Then let the silence speak. You'll feel stronger, more in control, and more at peace. The best part, you'll realize that your choices don't need anyone else's stamp of approval. They're valid because you made them. Number 4, keep your distance. Let's be real. Sometimes the best way to handle people who don't respect you is to keep your distance. I know it might sound harsh, maybe even a little cold, but here's the hard truth. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. If someone consistently disrespects you, one of the healthiest moves you can make is to create some space. This doesn't mean you hate them or that you're being dramatic. It simply means you respect yourself enough to protect your energy. Keeping your distance isn't about being mean or ignoring people. It's about choosing where and how you spend your time and energy. Imagine your life as a limited access club. Not everyone gets a VIP pass. If someone is constantly crossing your boundaries, making you feel small, or radiating negativity, why would you keep them close? It's okay to step back. In fact, it's crucial. Distance gives you clarity to see things as they really are, free from the fog of emotional manipulation or guilt. When you allow disrespectful people to remain close, it's like inviting them to a mental and emotional buffet where they take, criticize, and judge as much as they want. It's no wonder we often feel drained, anxious, or frustrated. Giving yourself space from these people is an act of self-preservation. It's about protecting your mental health, preserving your peace, and making room for those who respect and uplift you. Letting go of the guilt around distancing yourself can be liberating. You're not obligated to keep disrespectful people in your orbit. I'll share a quick story. I once had a friend who always made snide comments about my choices, my career, my relationships, even my taste in music. At first I thought, that's just how they are, maybe I'm overreacting. So I kept them around, brushing it off as no big deal. But over time, those little jabs got under my skin. I realized I was walking on eggshells, bracing for the next criticism or joke disguised as a punch. One day I decided to try something new. I didn't make a big announcement or call them out. I just started limiting my time with them. Instead of seeing them weekly, I saw them once a month. And guess what? I felt lighter, freer. That distance gave me the clarity to see how toxic the friendship had become. Some people might tell you that keeping your distance is selfish. They'll say, but they're family, or you've been friends for years. It can feel uncomfortable, even taboo, to admit someone you know well isn't good for you. Society tells us to be loyal, forgiving, and nice, but at what cost? Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. You're not here to be anyone's emotional punching bag or constant source of validation. Sometimes the best way to show someone you've had enough is by stepping back. Keeping your distance is a powerful reminder that you are your own priority. You don't have to play the role someone else has assigned you. You don't owe anyone access to your mind, time, or emotions. When you put space between yourself and disrespectful people, you make a statement. Your well-being comes first. And that's not just self-care, it's self-respect. Distance also allows you to refocus on the relationships that truly matter, the ones that uplift you. The more time you spend with people who respect you, the more confident and fulfilled you'll feel. The less time you spend around those who tear you down, the less power they have to affect your thoughts, mood, and life. At first, I used to feel guilty about distancing myself from people who didn't treat me well. I'd worry, what if they think I don't care? Or maybe I'm overreacting. But over time, I realized that creating distance wasn't just about removing negativity. It was about creating space for growth. When I gave myself permission to distance from disrespectful people, I felt a new kind of freedom. I had more energy, peace, and a clearer vision of the kind of relationships I wanted in my life. So here's my challenge to you. Think about the people in your life who constantly disrespect you or make you feel small. Then ask yourself, do they really deserve this much access to me? Number 5, cultivate a strong sense of self-worth. When dealing with disrespect, one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is to cultivate a strong sense of self-worth. In Stoic philosophy, true self-worth doesn't come from the validation or opinions of others, but from the internal belief that you are inherently valuable. When others disrespect you, it's easy to feel small or question your worth. But when you have a solid understanding of your value, their actions cannot penetrate your sense of self. The more you remind yourself that your value is not defined by the behavior of others, the less power their disrespect will hold over you. This shift in perspective allows you to stand strong and unaffected, maintaining your peace of mind no matter the external circumstances. It's about knowing that your worth comes from your own understanding of yourself, not from external sources. When you live from this place of self-respect, you no longer need to seek validation or approval from those who seek to tear you down. Instead, Their words and actions become irrelevant, and your inner confidence becomes an unshakable foundation that guides you through difficult interactions. Number 6. Lead by example. Another powerful Stoic approach to handling disrespect is to lead by example. Even when confronted with negativity or disrespect, you can choose to respond with dignity, patience, and calmness. Stoicism teaches us to act in line with our highest values regardless of how others behave. By staying true to your own principles, you show that you don't need to mirror others' poor behavior. Responding to disrespect with composure, rather than reacting with anger or retaliation, demonstrates emotional control and integrity. This not only prevents you from being dragged into unnecessary conflict, but it can also serve as a subtle yet powerful example for others to follow. When people see you maintaining your dignity despite their negative behavior, it encourages reflection and may even inspire them to reconsider their actions. By leading with respect and maturity, you elevate the situation, showing that you have the strength to rise above any provocation. In doing so, you teach others the value of respect, creating an environment where kindness and virtue are the standard. Number 7. Hold your head high. Holding your head high is a classic, timeless approach to dealing with disrespect, and for good reason. When someone disrespects you, they're often trying to make you feel small, hoping you'll doubt yourself, lower your gaze, or shrink into your shell. But standing tall with your head held high sends a powerful, silent message. I know who I am, and nothing you say or do can diminish me. Confidence unsettles those who thrive on disrespect, because their power depends on influencing or controlling you. When you remain unaffected and steadfast, you break their hold over you. I once encountered someone who couldn't resist throwing subtle insults my way. At first, it got under my skin, but one day I decided to change how I responded. Instead of reacting or shrinking back, I stood tall, looked them in the eye, smiled, and carried on as if their words had no weight. To my surprise, they began backing off. It was as though my unshakable confidence disarmed them. This is the magic of holding your head high. It's a silent shield that says, I'm untouchable. Interestingly, those who don't respect you may hate seeing your confidence because it disrupts their belief that they hold power over you. Society, too, sometimes struggles to accept those who are unapologetically self-assured. But holding your head high isn't about them. It's about you. It's about owning your worth and living as though you have nothing to prove. When you do this, you declare that you value yourself and that no one's opinion can diminish your inherent worth. Self-worth isn't something others grant. It's something you claim. Holding your head high is a constant reminder that you're the main character in your own story. Over time, this practice strengthens you, making the disrespect of others fade into insignificance. I used to be someone who slouched and avoided eye contact, but the more I held my head high, the more I felt empowered. This isn't just about physical posture, but mental posture too. Walk into every room like you belong there and let negativity roll off you. The next time you feel disrespected, don't react. Instead, take a deep breath, straighten your shoulders, and lift your head high. Look them in the eye as if to say, I see you, but I'm above this. You'll feel a surge of confidence, knowing their words hold no power over you. Respect starts with you, and the more you respect yourself, the less room there is for anyone else's disrespect to stick. Stand tall, own your worth, and never apologize for walking away from anything that doesn't serve you. Life is too short to bend over backward for people who can't see your value. The more you prioritize self-respect, the more you'll attract people who uplift you rather than drag you down. It all begins with owning your power and letting everything else fall into place. So hold your head high, protect your peace, and live life on your terms. Respect starts with you, and the world will follow your lead. In conclusion, handling people who don't respect you is all about taking control of your own responses and staying grounded in your own sense of self-worth. Whether it's by embracing silence, keeping your distance, or simply holding your head high, the key is to remember that their behavior does not define you. By leading with confidence and acting with integrity, you not only protect your peace, but set an example for others to follow. As you practice these Stoic principles, you'll find that disrespect from others has less and less power over you, and your ability to maintain composure will only grow stronger. If you found these strategies helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content on building confidence, maintaining peace, and living life on your own terms. Share this video with anyone who could use a reminder to stand strong in the face of disrespect. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and remember, respect starts with you, See you in the next video.